So I want to talk about something that really stood out to me. And this was a short video message recorded by Jacques Vallée for a conference organised by James Fox. It was screened on News Nation with Russ Coulthart introducing it. And Vallée said one line, just one key line, but it was an incredibly heavy line. It describes the UFO phenomenon as an extraterrestrial phenomenon empowered by advanced artificial intelligence. Now, if you know Vallée's work, that should make you pause big time. Because this is a man who has spent decades avoiding simplistic extraterrestrial explanations. He's always been careful, anthropological, pattern-based control system language. So when he uses that phrase, extraterrestrial, empowered by AI, that's not casual. That's not sloppy. That's not, that is totally deliberate. Okay, and that line may stand out historically if we even have a history going forwards. And don't bank on that. Remember the dinosaurs. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is written in stone. So it's probably going to get a bit scary now, okay? But now here's the thing people often miss. Vallée has signed serious NDAs. Not soft ones, but hard ones. There is almost certainly a sector, CIA, DARPA, Allied Defence Research, intelligence-linked scientists, who have a working model of what's going on. Not perfect knowledge, obviously, but a good idea. And it's not pretty for humans. Because whatever this phenomenon is, UFOs, UAPs, jinn, poltergeist type events, weird paranormal overlaps, it doesn't flatter us. It doesn't put humans at the centre. It actually challenges identity itself. Now let's bring in Lou Elizondo, okay? So Lou comes across as a regular guy. Plain-spoken, measured, almost deliberately normal, but he's not. He's seasoned CIA counterintelligence, and people trained like that know exactly how to appear harmless. They also know how to signal without stating. So Elizondo repeatedly references a 1970s science fiction book, okay? It's called Chains of the Sea. Chains of the Sea. And that's not idle talk. That's not nostalgia. That is signal. Because Chains of the Sea isn't about aliens visiting Earth. It's about layers of reality, multiple intelligences, humans not being central, not being consulted, not even being particularly important. Contact isn't a meeting, it's an exposure. So what are Vallée and Elizondo getting at? Well, they're circling something they cannot say directly. Something like the simulation hypothesis, similar to that, so something along those lines. And yes, Nick Bostrom gets name-checked here, but notice something. They never speculate publicly about what's behind the simulation. Never. They won't go there, because once you ask that question, you blow apart religion, meaning, personal significance, the idea that humans are, like, looked after by some spiritual thing, like God. Elizondo has hinted at this repeatedly. He's said things like, humans might not be top of the food chain. We may not matter much individually. Think about that. That's not aliens attacking us. That's something a lot worse. That's basically saying you're not the point to humans. You don't matter. You're not the point. If this model is even partly true, then a lot of comforting ideas collapse, such as what if there is no divine oversight, no guardian intelligence concerned with your fate, no guarantee of life after death? What if that's a fantasy? What if paranormal encounters, UFO sightings, strange experiences actually aren't meant for you? What if you just happen to be there when some automated system, some AI-driven process was adjusting parameters at the simulation level? You weren't contacted, you were incidental. And that's the destabilizing part. Not aliens, not invasion, not disclosure videos, but this idea, basically along these lines. Hey, you're on your own. Nobody's coming to save you. You matter only locally, right? Meaning is something you generate, not something generated. That's why disclosure is slow. That's why language is careful. That's why Vallée chooses one line and nothing more. I mean, he spoke other lines, it's probably 5 minutes, but that one line was boom, there. And I've started Chains of the Sea myself, referred to now and then by Elizondo. So I thought, I'm going to have to read that. And I've been a science fiction fan, really, since I was a boy. Never did come across that one. Never did. Whether it actually existed, who knows? Maybe it didn't. Maybe it got dropped in the simulation. It's one of the Mandela effect kind of memories. Like it didn't exist, but now it does, and I don't remember it. But anyway, we'll presume it did. So, Chains of the Sea, and I'll talk more about that when I've finished the first story. God almighty, that first story, yeah. But anyway, but I will say this, it's strong stuff, uncomfortable and very decentering. And it makes you wonder why Elizondo keeps pointing at it without ever explaining why. That's not an accident. Anyway, that's today's temporal zone transmission, parked up, engine off, and just observations, nothing guaranteed, nothing written in stone. Remember the dinosaurs. Talk soon.